All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to tackle one that a lot of you have been asking about, the Gigabyte G6X 9KG.
Yeah, this one's been generating some buzz.
Totally. And lucky for us, one of our listeners sent over a pretty in-depth review from TechWise Corner, so that's going to be our jumping-off point.
Excellent source.
So whether you're hardcore into gaming or you just need something, seriously powerful for work, or maybe a bit of both.
Right.
We're going to break down what makes this machine tick and hopefully help you figure out if it's, the right fit for you.
Sounds good.
So right off the bat, the review talks about this robust combination of metal and high-quality plastic. And I got to say, that kind of piqued my interest.
Yeah.
What does that tell us, really, about the build quality, the feel?
Well, I think what they're getting at is that, it's going to feel solid, durable, but not overly heavy,
Right.
Which is a good thing. You don't want a laptop that feels like a tank in your backpack. But at the same time, you don't want it to feel cheap and flimsy either.
No, definitely not.
Especially if you're, going to be gaming on it.
Yeah. And speaking of gaming, the display is a big talking point here.
Yeah, it's a pretty impressive specs.
It is.
16 inches FHD and a 165 hertz refresh rate.
So that's got to be buttery smooth, right?
Oh, yeah.
What does that even mean for someone who's, not super techie?
Okay, so imagine, flipping through a flip book.
Right.
The more pages you flip per second, the smoother the animation looks.
Yeah, right.
So the 165 hertz, it's like flipping through 165 pages every second. Everything just looks incredibly fluid, especially fast-moving action.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I'm starting to get the appeal.
Yeah, for gaming, especially competitive gaming, it's a huge deal. You see everything with crystal clarity, no lag, no motion blur.
That makes sense.
And the review also mentions vibrant colors, good brightness, even an anti-glare coating.
Oh, nice.
So you can game comfortably pretty much anywhere.
That's a good point.
Plus, there's something called adaptive sync technology, which is pretty technical, but basically keeps the screen and your graphics card in sync.
Okay.
So no screen tearing, which is when the image kind of splits horizontally.
I've seen that before.
Yeah, super annoying.
Totally ruins the immersion.
Exactly.
But a good display needs some serious horsepower behind it, right?
Right.
What's under the hood of this thing?
Okay, so we're talking Intel Core i7-13650HX processor,
Right.
which is a beast when it comes to multi-core performance.
Multi-core meaning?
It can basically juggle a ton of tasks at once without breaking a sweat.
Gotcha.
So imagine rendering a video while you're streaming your gameplay at the same time.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
This processor can handle that, no problem.
That's impressive.
And then for the graphics, you've got an RTX 4060 GPU.
Okay, not the top of the line, but still pretty powerful, right?
Yeah, more than enough for most games, especially with that display.
So what about RAM and storage?
16 GB of DDR5 RAM, which is like a super highway for your data. So multitasking.
Yeah.
No problem. You can have a ton of applications open, everything running smoothly.
No more lag. That's a beautiful thing.
And for storage, you get a 1 TB Gen4 SSD, which is blazing fast.
Gen 4, so that's
Think booting up your laptop in seconds. Loading games in a flash.
Okay, speed demon. I like it.
Yeah, no more waiting around.
All right, so we got the looks, we got the power, but let's be real for a sec. Gaming laptops, they tend to run hot.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic problem.
So what's the deal with this one?
Well, it seems Gigabyte has put some serious thought into this. They've got a whole system of heat pipes and strategically placed fans to make sure everything stays cool, even under pressure.
So no more using my laptop as a hot plate.
Hopefully not.
But what about the noise? Are those fans going to sound like a jet engine taking off?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
But from what I've read, Gigabyte has found a good balance. The fans are definitely audible when you're pushing the system hard, but they're not obnoxious.
Okay, that's good to know.
They're well-tuned, so you get the cooling you need without the excessive noise.
Nice. So we've covered the visuals, we've talked performance, but there's another big piece of the puzzle here. The audio.
Yeah, can't forget about the sound.
Right. What good is a killer game if it sounds like you're playing through a tin can?
Exactly.
So what did TechWise Corner have to say about the audio on the G6X 9KG?
Well, it features Dolby Atmos, which is not just about making things louder.
Okay.
It's about creating a more immersive sound experience.
Yeah.
You can actually pinpoint where sounds are coming from.
Oh, wow.
So in a game, you could like hear an enemy's footsteps and know exactly where they are.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, it adds a whole other level to the realism and the immersion.
Okay, starting to understand why that's a big deal.
It's like, going from watching a movie on your phone to being in a surround sound theater.
All right, yeah, I'm sold. So far, this laptop is ticking a lot of boxes.
It is.
But before we get too carried away, let's talk about the practical stuff. The software, the warranty, just like the overall user experience.
Yeah, the day-to-day stuff.
Exactly. What's it actually like to live with this machine? We'll dig into all of that right after this. Stay with us. Okay, so we're back and ready to, really get into the nitty-gritty of the Gigabyte G6X 9KG.
Yeah, time to see how it actually performs in the real world.
Right, like all those fancy specs are great, but what's it actually like to use this thing day in and day out?
Exactly. Does it live up to the hype?
So was there anything in the TechWise Corner review that stood out to you in terms of, like, usability?
Well, they did mention a couple of interesting features. Like, they highlighted this easily accessible maintenance hatch.
A maintenance hatch?
Yeah.
Seriously, I thought those went out of style with, like, shoulder pads and leg warmers.
Apparently not. It seems Gigabyte brought it back.
Yeah.
And for good reason. It makes it super easy to upgrade or repair the laptop.
Well, that's actually pretty smart.
Yeah, you don't have to, take the whole thing apart just to access the internals.
So it's kind of future-proof in a way.
Right. You can easily swap out components, upgrade the RAM, things like that.
I like that. It's like they're giving you a little toolkit to keep your laptop running smoothly for years to come.
Exactly. They're thinking about the long term.
Okay, so what about the keyboard and trackpad?
The review was pretty positive about the keyboard. They said it's comfortable to type on, whether you're, writing a novel or coding all night.
Nice.
They specifically mentioned good tactile feedback, which is important.
Yeah, I hate it when the keys feel all mushy and unresponsive.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Especially when you're in the middle of a, intense gaming session.
Exactly. You need that precision.
But let's be honest, for serious gamers, you're probably going to use a separate mouse anyway, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
No trackpad can really compete with a good gaming mouse.
Nope. Not for those lightning-fast reflexes.
But for everyday tasks, the trackpad should be fine.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so it seems like they've put some thought into the user experience. But now, the big question, the one everyone's waiting for.
Hit me with it.
Battery life. We touched on it a bit before, but this is kind of a deal breaker for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a big one.
So let's be real. What are we looking at here?
Okay, so based on the review and just knowing how these things usually go,
Yeah.
you're probably looking at around 4 to 5 hours for general use.
Okay.
So browsing the web, working on documents, that kind of stuff.
And for gaming?
Significantly less.
Ouch.
Yeah, especially if you're running demanding games at high settings.
So not exactly a laptop you can take on a, cross-country flight and expect to game the whole way.
Probably not the best choice for that, no.
But, is there anything you can do to kind of, stretch the battery life a bit?
Sure, there are always some tricks.
Okay.
You can play around with the power management settings in Windows, lower the screen brightness, close any unnecessary apps, that kind of thing.
Okay, so just being a little bit more mindful.
Exactly. And, if you need maximum performance, just plug it in.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've talked design, we've covered the display, the performance, even the battery life situation.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
It seems like this laptop packs a pretty mean punch. But the big question remains, is it actually worth the price?
Yeah, that's what we need to figure out. Does the G6X 9KG deliver enough value to justify the investment? We'll tackle that right after this.
All right, so we're back, and it's time to answer the ultimate question. Is this thing worth it?
Right. Is the Gigabyte G6X 9KG actually worth money?
Because we can talk specs and features all day long, but at the end of the day, it's got to make sense for your wallet, too.
Absolutely. Value is key.
So in your opinion, what are the biggest strengths of this laptop, value-wise?
I think it really comes down to the performance and the versatility you get for the price.
Okay.
That Intel Core i7 processor paired with the RTX 4060 GPU means you could pretty much throw anything at this machine.
Games, work, whatever.
Exactly. And let's not forget that beautiful 16-inch display with 165 Hz refresh rate.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Especially for gamers, that's a huge selling point.
Totally. And then you've got the 16 GB of RAM, so multitasking's a breeze. And the 1 TB Gen 4 SSD means everything loads super fast.
Plus, Dolby Atmos for that immersive audio experience.
So, yeah, it's got a lot going for it. But no laptop is perfect, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the maybe not so great things to consider?
Well, as we talked about earlier, the battery life isn't exactly stellar.
Yeah.
So if you need a laptop that can last all day on a single charge, this probably isn't the one.
And the design, while it's sleek and modern,
Yeah,
it might not scream gaming laptop to some people,
true. It's a bit more understated.
which could be a good or bad thing, depending on what you're looking for.
Exactly. It depends on your style.
And of course, price is always a factor.
Right. This is a premium machine, so it's not going to be the cheapest option out there.
So let's get down to brass tacks here. Who is this laptop perfect for?
I'd say it's a great fit for gamers who really value performance and a smooth, immersive experience.
Okay.
And also for creative professionals who need a powerful machine for video editing, graphic design, that kind of thing.
So basically, anyone who needs a laptop that can handle both work and play without any compromises.
Exactly. It's a versatile machine.
All right, so big picture time. Where does this laptop fit into, like, the whole gaming laptop landscape?
That's a good question. I think it's more of a refinement of existing technologies rather than like a groundbreaking innovation,
Okay.
but it's a really well-executed refinement.
So taking what works and making it even better.
Exactly. Gigabyte is a solid brand too. They've got a good reputation for making reliable hardware.
Right. That definitely counts for something.
It gives you peace of mind knowing that the company stands behind their products.
So all things considered, we've got a powerful, versatile machine from a reputable brand.
Yeah, it's definitely a strong contender.
But like you said earlier, value is subjective. So do your research, compare different models, figure out what features are most important to you, and then
see if the G6X 9KG aligns with your needs and your budget.
couldn't have said it better myself. And hey, remember, technology's always changing, so
Stay curious.
stay informed. And who knows what amazing new laptops we'll be talking about next time.
We'll see you then.
Until then, happy gaming and happy creating.